Happy National Day and welcome to a new episode of Connected from Home, where we choose to stay safe yet refuse to be disconnected. We connect with interesting people from all around the world virtually, get to know more about them, and seek inspiration. The best way to celebrate Bahrain's National Day is through the accomplishments of its youth and, of course, children. And since this year has been extraordinary, a school decided to celebrate in a different way. They held an art show and a competition, and of course, the participants are the students. And what's very special about it is that they dedicated their pieces of art to our frontline heroes who are working day and night to keep us safe. Tara Wadby, the head of the school, will be with us today and she'll tell us all about it. Hello, Tara, and thank you for joining us in this episode of Connected from Home. It's such a pleasure way to celebrate Bahrain's National Day with the artwork of our youth and our children.
Hi, thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to share the work of our students. We're very proud and we're very proud to highlight it.
Tell me the story. Who came up with the idea of this exhibition?
So the idea was part of our planning for National Day. And National Day is something that we take great pride in celebrating every year. But in particular, this year, it was going to be very different just because of the pandemic. And so one of our new art teachers, Mrs. Fatima Al Khalifa, she had just joined the school in August. And she said, well, as part of National Day, can we have an art competition in tribute to Bahrain frontline workers? And so we thought, yes, great. And so it sort of happened concurrently, like it was always part of our National Day planning, but then it became much bigger. It kind of became an event of its own because A, what a great idea it was, but also how much our community and our students took part in it. And so Fatima works with another art teacher. We have two art teachers here at the school. So between the two of them, they teach all of our students. And they just have wonderful, lovely relationships, really know how to inspire kids to art. And so Miss Nicole Serro and Miss Fatima Al Khalifa sort of spearheaded this. And then we, of course, helped in the background to get all of the parts moving. But it really was our art teachers and the relationships they have with kids that helped.
And how did the kids react? Did they understand the important role of our frontline heroes?
Yes, and this is, I think, what's been so incredibly fascinating to watch and really heartening and gratifying, how they're translating it. So in some ways, it was a gratitude exercise for them. So the competition was sort of secondary to the exercise of paying tribute to the frontline workers. And so what I loved was seeing how the different children interpreted who was the frontline worker they wanted to give thanks to. So obviously the medical profession was huge, but there was also teachers, some did parents. And so it was really nice, I think, the reflective activity as well. And so this is what I loved is that we were able to display everyone's work. So it was an exhibition, first and foremost, it was a competition secondary, but it was an exhibition in gratitude of Bahrain and then of Bahrain's frontline workers.
Yes, and they deserve all the gratitude. Even the mothers, even everyone who was fighting and who was struggling to keep pace with what's going on. Okay, so do you have a favorite artwork apart from the competition?
There were so many that were good. It was very hard for the judges to choose. But I loved the Ad Al Khalifa, and she had done different kinds of masks, kind of through the ages. It's just a beautiful painting on canvas. But what was really fun for us, so every morning now during COVID, we have to take the students' temperatures. So myself and our director for marketing,
Yes.
every child coming in every day. So we were watching them come in with their different artworks. And so we could see them before they were entering. And we could see their progression because sometimes they would
Yes.
go back and forth. And so with Dodd, every morning I take her temperature and look at the progress. And For me, it just was phenomenal. It ended up, it wasn't one of the winners, but it was just, it was one of the finalists, but it wasn't a winner, but I loved that one very much. Yes.
Oh, that's great. So, what were the criteria and how did you choose winners in the competition?
Yes. So there were three criteria. There was theme. So how well did the artwork represent the theme of giving tribute to the frontline workers? Creativity. Um, so kind of going beyond that theme and how did they interpret it? And then craftsmanship. So how well done was it as well? And so the judges, it was a scale of 1 to 5 in each theme. And so the judges rated all of the artworks, and then the art teachers tabulated the scores.
Okay, that's great. So, did it include all grades, like children of all age groups?
Yes, so we had grades 1 to 12, and we had 5 categories. So there were 4 finalists in the grades 1 and 2, 4 finalists in grades 3 to 5, and then middle and high school were together. There was a finalist in the 2D category, 3D category, and then digital art. And now in hindsight, kind of seeing how phenomenal the work was and the range of skill of the different ages. We might end up expanding the age ranges so that middle school might be its own, because this is something we want to do every year now, kind of give tribute in some way every year in celebration of Bahrain as part of our National Day.
Yeah, that's great. And maybe this year it's the frontline heroes. Maybe you pick something else next year. It's a very good idea.
Yeah, it's great, and it's so I'm so proud. Like I'm so proud as a teacher here at the school, as an educator, and to see our students work up at the avenues. It's just lovely, and I love art, and so I'm just so proud to see us expressing ourselves through art.
Yes, it speaks all languages, they say. Okay, so did you support the students maybe with some ideas or maybe with craftsmanship or something? Or they were completely on their own?
No, they definitely. I mean, me personally, like I said, I would chat with them in the morning at the gate and sort of give encouragement, or just ask them about their ideas. Children are amazing, and they know so much more sometimes than we give them credit. So just seeing what they come up with and posing questions and then giving encouragement is all I needed to do. But definitely, some of the kids would ask technical questions of their teachers.
Yes.
In fact, if I may share, like my daughter, so my 2 children also entered, and so as a parent, I also got to see the thinking process on a much more personal level. And my daughter, she's in 3rd grade, she actually did our school nurse. So it was a very
Yeah.
specific tribute to Nurse Sam, who was our nurse here at RBIS. And but then my daughter, she's
Great.
recreated the nurse's office. She's put these details like the eye chart in the background. She'd made masks with Red Cross and felt all these things she was thinking of on her own, like, oh, I'm going to use this and that. She learned how to draw a wheelchair. Like she looked up on the internet one night how to draw a wheelchair so she could put it in. But then
Yes.
she had drawn it, though she'd put it up, it looked like it was floating in the air. So she was very upset, thought she'd ruined her artwork. So she went to her art teacher, and her art teacher helped her just to show how she could make it look like it was part of the floor. So they were very, very helpful in that way.
Yeah, and it's a great motive for them, to learn how to draw, learn how to design.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the relationship they have with their teachers, that they want to do.
Hmm.
Like, if the fact that the teachers have inspired them to participate is a really nice thing as well. So I just want to point that out. Our teachers are just phenomenal. All of our teachers are, but the fact that so many children wanted to do this was exciting.
Yes, of course. We need to highlight that. That's very important. So, how many pieces of artwork did you have at the exhibition? And did some of the kids participate with more than one piece?
So we had over 60 entries, and every
Mhm.
child submitted one piece. So that means that there were over 60 students who were participating, which also,
Wow.
we're a small school. We only have about 350 students. So,
Uh-huh.
it's a nice chunk of our students participating there. Um,
Yes.
and we had 16 finalists. There were 4 finalists in each category, but there was
Hmm.
only one entry in the 3D division. So he actually 17 finalists because he was the only entry in that category. 17,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's a very good percentage of artists in a
Yeah.
school.
Yes.
And I think maybe this means that uh, they already have good art workshops or they are learning well.
Absolutely. I mean, our students take art from grade one up. They art is a part of our program, and so definitely the fact that they know their teachers, they're learning different skills as they move up. It's a phenomenal program. I mean, our teachers they also incorporate like last year, my daughter learned about the migration of the monarch butterfly and then built models of the
Yeah.
butterfly. So it's more than just producing art, it's also learning about the world. And I think that's why this competition took off, because they already understand that art has an impact in the world, and that we can speak through.
Yes. Okay, and I think we would love to have a display of some of the artworks and what they mean. So maybe maybe describe some of the finalists' artwork and what they mean, and maybe if you know about the process of thinking and how this idea started and how it developed to be this piece, this artwork.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know that I have as much information there, but like I can tell you a little bit about some of them. I mean, one of them, one of the digital art pieces, she had it was an image of a doctor, but it was also her mother, and so she was giving tribute not only
Wow.
to doctors but also to her mother, and she'd written in Arabic about love. So like kind of a
Yeah.
designing holistic but also personal.
Yeah.
That was very nice. The
Yeah.
little one who won in the first grade category, she had a doctor, but then she had wings coming out. So taking
Yeah.
a traditional theme of the medical workers, but then adding the idea of an angel behind it was
Yeah.
very. The winner in the 2D category, the 2D category, and I mean the high school students just were phenomenal. So a lot
Yes.
of school students they didn't become finalists because they're not quite there with their art yet. There were so many good submissions. The 2D winner, it was four masked figures, but she'd incorporated superheroes there. So kind of the idea of who are we behind the mask, but also this superhero theme, because the frontline workers are
Yeah.
superheroes. And then another
Yeah.
one of the finalists, this is another one of my favorite. I mentioned Dodds earlier, which was also a kind of a take on the different mask figures. But another one of our finalists, Sheikah's, she had a huge COVID, germ
Yeah.
covering
Yeah.
the whole image, and then a doctor is kind of holding it back, and so you can see the doctor
Yeah.
holding it back, and this
It's like
family and
Superman.
yeah, kind of like Superman, and then the family in the house peering out. It was just phenomenal. So well
Yeah,
done.
that's amazing. Yes, amazing. I can't believe those pieces of artwork are done by students. It's fascinating.
Yes, absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think maybe you did not expect such good work, right? When you guys just launched the competition or had the idea of the exhibition, you did not expect to see such good artwork by students.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, I think our kids, we know our kids can do things, but it's a really difficult time right now too. Being some kids are
Yeah,
still virtual. At the time we announced the competition, we were hybrid. We were only coming to school 2 days a week. But the fact that they did
yeah,
such work on their own time, like this wasn't part of a grade. There was nothing that they did for class. This was all people, students committing on their own time and spending days on it. Like my own two children, for example, hours on coming at home and okay, I'm going to do this now and I'm going to do this now. So really exciting to see how inspired they were.
how do you think this impacted them?
Well, I think it was nice because even though like we are back in school now, so they were still coming a little bit, but they were still home a lot more this year than any other year, and they were on the
Yeah,
computer more. And so being able to come and just do something with your hands is very good for you, physically and
yes,
emotionally and mentally. So I think having art is relaxing, creation is good for the mind, body, and spirit. And so is gratitude. So kind of we're doing all of it. It's a physical activity off the computer, it's a gratitude exercise, and it's creativity. So it really incorporates a number of very important benefits psychologically.
Are you thinking about taking this beyond the school?
Yes, absolutely. And this is very much an iterative process for us. So our ideas are coming kind of just before we're implementing them. But the first thing we're going to do is create a calendar because we want to recognize all of this wonderful art and add it together. And so everyone will be represented in the calendar, and then we'll be able to give as gifts within Bahrain. Of course, the students who participated will get one. So that's one nice way to kind of house the work. But another thing that we want to do, we want to ask the students if they'd be willing to donate their artwork. And if they'd be willing to donate it, then we'll have it framed. We'll write like a nice tribute on it, and we'll then, gift it to hospitals, maybe to some ministries, so that we can have a representation and a thank you for them.
Yes, by the children of Bahrain. That's amazing.
Oh, I like that. By the children of Bahrain. Yes, that's wonderful. I'll write that down.
Yes. Okay, so what's the message that you want to send out there?
We just want to say, as a school, we are so incredibly grateful to be a part of Bahrain during this time. Bahrain's response has been measured. It has kept us safe. Really, we are all a part of Team Bahrain. And so doing this for Bahrain has been very gratifying for us, and just a small way to say thanks for being a part of this wonderful, wonderful country, and this wonderful, wonderful community. So thank you to Bahrain.
And thanks to you, actually, for adding such artwork and such a great spirit, and all by the hands of the Bahrain. We're very, very happy to see those pieces of artwork and encourage them by any possible manner.
Thank you. It's just been a pleasure. It's one of those times where you find yourself being in a space of deep gratitude, because the world is different right now, and the fact that here in Bahrain we can safely come together, people are cooperating and collaborating. We recognized National Day yesterday as a school, and we just had to pause and give, because this is an amazing country. And I don't think I can say it correctly, but there's a phrase, Hani fil Bahrain. We are Bahrain, and we're just, all of us here, whether we're Bahraini or not, so grateful to be a part of Bahrain.
We all call Bahrain home.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us in this episode of Connected from Home. It was a great way to celebrate Bahrain's National Day, paying tribute to our frontline heroes by the hands of the kids of Bahrain.
Thank you for having us, and we're very, very proud to share our work and grateful.
Me too. We are even more proud of your work, the ideas, and of course the children.
This brings us to the end of this episode of Connected from Home. Hope you enjoyed your National Day celebrations wisely and safely. And see you next week with a new episode of Connected from Home.